Welcome to Honest Whispers Review. On this video I'll be reviewing Marvel's Modern Era X-Men series Gambit 8-inch medium statue. It was released back in 2004 by Diamond Select Toys, limited to 3,000 pieces. It's based on the artwork by Jim Lee and sculpted by Jeff Feligno. I'm going to go over 5 different categories to review this. First category is design, which is basically the execution pose and the presentation of the statue. And when the statue came out, it came out as a series of statues with other characters having bases that kind of matched the other characters' bases, so you could display them next to each other. Unfortunately, you had to get certain characters that fit other characters. Otherwise, if you didn't get them all, you wouldn't be able to display them together the way it's supposed to. And it's unfortunate because not all characters were collectible. So the concept, the idea is actually pretty good. Unfortunately, the execution isn't that great. If they made the bases more universal, where you could fit any character with any character, then that would have been a lot more ideal, so that you didn't have to collect them all, but you can still be able to use the concept of the display to give it more of that connection. The pose isn't bad, it's dynamic, he's ready to fight, he has his cards charged and his staff ready to strike. Unfortunately, because of the ducking position, you have to be at the statue's eye level to kind of get the full effect of the design. Otherwise, if you're looking at it from above or even from a regular height level, you really can't see his face, and it looks like he's just kind of crouching down or ducking. And when I look at the box, it does seem like this is the artwork that it's based on, but couldn't really execute it because he's in mid-air. So I believe they went with this instead. And when you look closely at other sculpted part areas, the details, the jacket and hair looks nice, but the hair is a little bit too rough, so you don't get like that smooth look. Works on the jacket, gives it that leather rough texture look, but when you look real close, maybe a little too much. And the hands aren't done too well. In some areas you get kind of stubby fingers, especially the left hand. When you look at the thumb, it looks pretty sloppy. And when you also look at the cards, I understand you don't want breakable cards, but some are kind of warped. So, especially in those areas, it just doesn't look that great. And then, my biggest complaint on this statue is the face. The face, with all honesty, is ugly. He looks like an middle-aged creepo. And when you look at the artist proof one that they took pictures of, and of course that they approved for the full production, it looks better. He looks a little cooler, his face is a little more smoother. And then when you look at the actual statue, it's more rough. His face looks more wrinkled, and he just looks like a weird creepo. So due to that, I'm going to give the sculpting score a 6 out of 10. The next category is painting. Painting overall isn't bad, but there are some minor flaws, especially like right here. That's the most noticeable. It looks a little sloppy on the hand. The skin tone is overlapping on the glove, where the base of the thumb is, and also on the card. And it looks like the card, the white, isn't fully painted, so you could see that it was used, they used like a spray paint type of mechanic, and didn't get the fully painted area. The jacket, they used different tones on the colors, a lot of, to give it that shaded and shadow look, which works well. But it seems a little bit overdone when you look at especially the boots. It makes everything kind of look, I don't know, a little too like old, I guess. I think it would have been cooler if it had more of a gloss finish to it. They added some black to his costume to give it more of that muscle definition and everything, which isn't bad. It kind of works, but like I said, I think it's just a little too much. The whole paint tone is a little bit too rustic, I would say. It works great on the base though. You can see a lot of the black and gray added to like the corners in different areas, and definitely gives it that realistic look. So due to that, the painting, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The value, this actually, when it came out, these statues were at retail at around $69.95, I believe, or $69.99. And basically, right now, because of the supply, because there isn't any supply in the aftermarket, the value is pretty high. You could definitely get about 100 to 200% over the retail value. So in other words, right now you could probably sell this statue, depending on the condition, between $150 to $250, no problem. Maybe a little over. I've seen some brand new ones of other characters listed at $300 or over. This one's one of the popular characters, and definitely has a high value. Because of that, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, which leads to the final category. The overall score I'm going to give the statue is 7 out of 10, because the sculpting, just overall the execution and the sculpting just isn't that great, but everything else is pretty good, and the high aftermarket value really is what I think that just puts it on the top. So to recap, the design is 8 out of 10, sculpting 6 out of 10, painting 7 out of 10, value 9 out of 10, and overall 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Until next time.